So there I was on Sunday, cutting through a piece of wood with my circular saw, which has a bit of vintage to it now, but it's hardly been used, when it started popping and fizzing and stopped working. There are only two things that really go wrong with power tools. One is the carbon brushes and the other is the bearings on the end of the motors. Anyway, if they pop and fizz, it's the brushes. Now these kind of motors where you can access the brushes from the outside are brilliant, really easy. So I took out the brush, which was actually this one, and the spring had been taking the current rather than the copper wire, which meant the springer got hot, degraded, and the carbon was no longer touching the com. Sunday, I went to do my job. What do? It's the only saw I've got that'll cut 3 inches, or the only portable one. So I had a look on the shelf to see what else I had, made by Hitachi, and I came across this old router. Quite a vintage tool again. I bought it at an auction, and I only bought it because it was so cheap. I took the brushes out and they were exactly the same. Pop the brush from the router into the saw. Just like that. This interchangeability of parts isn't a deliberate thing on the part of the makers to make life easy for us. It's to make life easy for them. Why would you make lots of different carbon brushes and motor components if you didn't have to? So they use the same parts in different machines and just give them different part numbers just to confuse us all. I bought this little cordless angle grinder on the car boot a few weeks ago. I gave the fella £2 for it, and he said he didn't know whether it worked, which seems to be code for I know bloody well it doesn't work, and it didn't. And when I tried to get the brushes out of it, I found that the brush carrier had got so hot it had melted, and the brush caps were glued in with molten plastic. So I took it apart. Everybody's got to be good at something, yeah? And that white plastic component there, the brush carrier and motor end cap, which carries the bearing, was completely melted away. Looked like a lump of toffee. What to do? Is it worth buying a new part for a dubious thing from the boot sale? I don't know. But I had a look on my shelf of broken and redundant power tools, and I had this Makita 14.4 volt saw, also a victim from the car boot sale. And when I took it apart, the carrier on the end of the motor was exactly the same component. This is an 18 volt saw, that's 14.4 volt. Nobody uses 14.4 volts anymore. So the thing was mended for free, and it's a cracking little tool actually. I never thought I'd have a use for a cordless angle grinder, but I use it all the time. I hope this helps somebody, and if it does, I could do with a couple of subscribers.